is use to the sea, and discard. Two things to play Glorfindel from the discard pile. So that was 1 threat coming out, plus the 3 that's in the area is 4, and we need 3 progress, so we need 7 to finish this stage. Do we want to finish this stage right now? Possibly. I think strategically we'd be better off waiting 1 more turn and killing the Dunland Chieftain. Probably. So let's... because we can take the 1 damage from that thing easy. So you know what? Let's play it smart. So 4 progress is going to be in there. Ideally, we want to do... we only want 6 quest going. So Arwen can go. One of the Galadrin Weavers can go. And Grima can go. It's a Dunland Prowler. So that's 4 against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... That's 2 progress, which puts us 1 off. And then who shall we fight? Realistically, I want the Dunland Chieftain to hit Treebeard. So let's take the other little one, the Dunland Prowler. That gives Mablung a resource. So 1 for the Chieftain and 1 for the Prowler. Right, the Dunland Chieftain onto Treebeard. Defending player discards an attachment he controls. So let's lose. Let's lose to the sea because we've played Glorfindel and he's probably our biggest, best Noldor. So that's 5 minus Treebeard's defense of 3 is 2 wounds to Treebeard. And then the Prowler on Mablung. Prowler has 2 attack, no shadow text, so Mablung's fine. So we hit back. Arrestor will contribute essentially 4, so he's doing 1 wound, so we need to do 5 more damage. That can be easily arranged with the Wellinghall Preserver and Glorfindel to kill the Chieftain. And then the Prowler, we've got 2 from the Guardian of Rivendell, 2 from the Wandering Ent, and that's it. So that's 4, which is 1 wound. Refresh phase, a time counter goes off. I have 1 card left in hand, so I have to do a wound to someone. I'll do a wound to Skinbark. Wellinghall Preserver readies, which recovers a wound from an Ent. I'll heal Treebeard. Threat up by 1. 2 time counters on there. And we are ready to coup de grace this quest. I mean, technically, I slow played that like horrifically there. I could have finished the quest easily and gone on to the next stage, but I have a sneaky suspicion that the next stage of the quest is some sort of engage multiple enemies or something like that. And, you know, we weren't overwhelmed there, but if the enemies had started to make multiple attacks, that really could have got messy quite quickly. So that is 4 cards, and that is 3 resources, and 1 for Treebeard. Right then, we've got Treebeard, Rivendell Blade, Wingfoot, and Will of the West. So we've already got 1 Will of the West in here, but we've got 1 more in the deck. So, what do we want to do? Well, we want to keep a card for Glorfindel so we can refresh. Henmath, what's coming, buddy? It's a Dunland Berserker. So, right then, I can see no reason. Let's put Wingfoot onto Mablung. Let's discard Treebeard, not the real Treebeard, just the Treebeard in hand, to give another resource to Arrestor, and that is all we can do. Yep. Right then, questing. So we're going to have 2 come out. That's going to put 5 in the area. We need 6 to finish. So Mablung's going to go because he can exhaust Wingfoot and name a type of card that's going to come out. We know it's going to be an enemy, so he'll ready. So that's 2. The 2 Galadrin Weavers can go. And do you know what? Grima can go. Arwen, you chill. Right, so that's going to be the 6. That draws, that puts 1 progress, that finishes. Oh, Henmath, you make everything so much easier. Unless you're an enemy, of course. So that ends that time mechanic. Technically, of course, I could have made the case for holding on for another turn to sort of clear out the Raider and the Berserker. But, I mean, come on. The slow play and the slow play. Right then. I mean, that definitely would have been the better choice, but, you know. Hold the forwards. The Dunlending's assault is relentless, and your arms grow weary. Take me to Isengard, Grima pleads. But you will not abandon the defence. You will either break the will of the enemy, or give your life in a heroic last stand. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a different Dunland enemy and adds it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. Hold the forwards. Time 3. Forced. After the... Look, what an amazing artwork. After the last time counter is removed from this stage, discard the top X cards of the encounter deck. X is the number of cards in the first player's hand. For each, add each enemy discarded this way to the staging area. Put 3 time counters on this stage. While there is at least 1 enemy in play, the players cannot defeat this stage. If the players defeat this stage, they win the game. Right then, do you know what? I'm tempted to take a Berserker to look through the deck to find out if there's another Berserker in here. Because that shadow text is horrendous. Cool. Okay, there isn't another Dunland Berserker in the deck. So, let's have one of the big old Dunland Tribesmen come out instead, because his threat is low, and we don't need to engage him right now. Okie dokie. 3 time counters. So, let's take a look at what we're defending against. Well, the Dunland Berserker is going to engage us. So we've got 2 attackers. You know what? Let's leave the Dunland Raider and let's engage the Dunland Tribesman. Right, so these 2 engage. 1 resource to Mablung. 3 shadowy texts. Shadowy cards. Right then, the Dunland Tribesman with 4 attack, let's put him on to... Who wants to get hit in the face by a Dunland Tribesman? Let's put him on Mablung. No shadow text, so we're good. Next up, the Prowler, only 2 attack. Let's put him onto the Guardian of Rivendell. The attacking only gets +1, so it bounces off. Next one, let's put him onto the Welling Hall Preserver. No shadow text, so we're fine. Alright then, let's hit back and do some murdering. So Skimbark's got 4 attack. Oh my goodness, I'm pretty sure everything is just very dead here. So, Glorfindel plus Arwen is 4. And that's a useless number. So, Glorfindel plus Arrestor is more than enough to kill anything. Goodness. Okay, Glorfindel plus Treebeard, and let's spend a card to ready Glorfindel again, is 7, which is more than enough. Let's smash the Tribesman. Skinbark plus the Wandering Ent is 6, which is enough to kill the Dunland Prowler. And Glorfindel plus... Arrestor plus Arwen is more than enough to kill the Berserker as well. There we go. Will of the West gets discarded. 1 time counter is removed. Threat up by 1. Everyone readies. Ready for another turn of murdering the Dunlendings. And then 4 cards. Midland Sea Watcher, an Honour Guard, a Welling Hall Preserver, and a Protector of Lorien. 3 resources. +1 to Treebeard. I mean, Treebeard and Glorfindel are just such a pair of auto-readying monsters. Right then, let's put a Protector of Lorien onto Mablung, because then he'll always have the defense for whatever comes out the deck. Henmath, what's coming next? It is a Dunlending Bandit, which is a complete wimp. Right then, let's play an Honour Guard for some more defense, and a Mythlond Sea Watcher for some more attack. And really we want this card to ready Glorfindel, but we'll be able to put it back in our hand. So let's discard this card, and then it goes right back into our hand to give a Restore another resource. And then let's quest. So Mablung's going, he's going to name enemy, so he'll ready thanks to Wingfoot. Arwen will go. Who else fancies a quick little jaunt in the woods? Wellinghall Preserver, Glorfindel, both the Gladrian Weavers, Grima. We've hardly got anything to kill. Wandering Ent, off you go as well. And, oh, you know what, Treebeard, have a day off. Off you go. Right then, the Dunlending Bandit, so that's 5. That's 5 between Arwen and Mablung. So everything else is gravy. 3, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, which puts us 2 off what we need. Although we couldn't finish the stage anyway because there were enemies. So 5 and 4 more. Unfortunately, they're not both going to engage us. So let's take the big nasty enemy. I spend a card, sorry, to ready Glorfindel. So we have to deal 1 damage because of the Dunlend. I should have removed the wound from Treebeard from Wellinghall Preserver readying. He takes another wound because of the Dunlend Raider's ability. Dunlend Raider attacking Mablung. Yeah, because we can block it with the Honor Guard if we have to. Nothing. Honor Guard exhausts to cancel the 1 point of damage, so he's fine. And the Dunlend Raider gets hit by an army and gets killed. Oh, that would have been a resource to Mablung for engaging an enemy. 1-time counter goes. Threat goes up to 30. And everyone readies. In theory, as long as we don't get another enemy, and there were not many enemies left in the deck, that is the end of the quest. 4 cards, though. Resources for the whole gang. And 1 for Treebeard. And what's coming up, Henmath? It's a location. Doesn't really matter what it is. Doesn't really matter what I play. So let's send Arwen, Mablung, Glorfindel, Wellinghall, Gladrian Weaver, etc. I'm going to name a location. It's a location. That's 4. We put 1,000,000 progress on there. The Dunlending Bandit engages. Mablung gets a resource. Pop a card on the top. I will say that it's going to attack Mablung. The other ill tiding. How appropriate. We hack the Dunlending Bandit apart and we win the game. Bum, bum, bum. My camera just about has enough battery and memory left to read the do not read until you've won text, which is quite long. So if you don't want to hear some story, that's the end of the quest. If you do want to hear some story, I'll give you a beautiful Grima to look at while I read this, because the text is from him. As the body of the largest Dunlending fell into the river, the wild men finally gave up the attack. They'd thought victory to be at hand, but a group of steel-willed strangers had appeared on the eastern ridge and brought relief to the hated men of Rohan. Denied their prize, the remaining wild men retreated into the rocky highlands northwest of the ford. Their blue-painted faces screamed in fury back at the victors, their axes banging and pointing to the boar sigils on their shields, with promises of revenge. The remaining Rohirrim knights, exhausted but pleased at their renewed lease on life, greeted the heroes with bright smiles. The senior among them was about to speak when the dark-clad emissary kneed his mare forward. He was a young man with pale skin and inky circles under his grey eyes. Thinning, wet hair matted his scalp in forlorn streaks, and his black cloak clung to his body like dead skin. "Help unlooked for is help most grateful, is help most obliged." The emissary's flat voice was one of accustomed authority, but its treble betrayed the terror he'd suffered during the attack. He shot a frosty look at the knight who'd been about to speak. It seems Theorel's lack of vigilance did not doom us after all, said the emissary. The senior knight, whom the heroes guessed was Theorel, cringed at the rebuke, smile forgotten. The emissary returned his dark glances to the heroes, evaluating them. I am Grima, son of Galmod, loyal adviser to Theoden King. Grima pointed northwards, where the valley of Isengard lay wreathed in rain and mist. In its midst, midst, interesting writing, the spire of Orthanc emerged like a black nail hammered through a grey blanket. And who hasn't hammered a black nail through a grey blanket? I travel with a message to the White Wizard. As Grima spoke, he noticed that the river's current had pushed the corpses of 2 Dunlending warriors into the shallower waters of the nearby bank. He shuddered. We must be on our way. Theorel cleared his throat and spoke for the first time, his gratitude to the heroes outweighing his deference to Grima. The king surely will reward you for the bravery shown to us today. Of course. Grima composed himself and eyed Theorel with irritation. He circled his horse to study what remained of his escort. The counsellor seemed as uncomfortable among the warriors as he did with the dead Dunlendings floating nearby. Grima raised his pale face to the wind to study the hills, calculating the odds of another attack. After an uncomfortable moment, Grima turned his horse to face the heroes again. We would be honoured if you would come with us to Isengard, he said. Your protection would be appreciated. As would your company. Theorel found his smile again. Saruman is a gracious host, Theorel continued, stealing a glance at Grima with ill-hidden dislike. Theorel was clearly embarrassed by the emissary's self-serving behaviour. Warm food and dry beds must have appealed in this cursed weather, yes? Besides, I should dearly like to share a drink with those that saved our lives here today. Almost imperceptibly, Grima inclined his head in agreement, but said nothing. The heroes accepted, and the group headed northward into the low clouds, into the Wizard's Vale, into Isengard, home of Saruman the White. To be continued in To Catch an Orc, the second adventure, which we will continue with, but is a quest I am dreading. Hope you've enjoyed this. A little bit long, a little bit roughshod. Sorry if the lighting wasn't great. Still finding out what works. See you for the next one. Bye.